What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of War Thunder. I've been flying out the P-51 D-30 a lot lately, and, well, I wouldn't say a lot. I've been flying it for like the past 2 or 3 days, and I haven't gotten it spaded. But I decided to take it into a match today after having like 7 bad matches in a row, and this one was actually pretty decent. But what I want to show in this video is patience and impatience incarnate. I can be one of the most patient players, but when I feel the need to get another kill or I get greedy, I'm very impatient. So we're fighting on Krimsk here, and of course we're going against Russian biased. I'm sorry. I had to say it. It's not true all the time, but look, anytime I face Russians, it's Russian bias. But yeah, we got a whole American, allied team, Typhoons, P-38, and I want to say maybe a P-47 or two. But yeah, they got completely like either annihilated or they just weren't helping us. And plus, we had the bomber spam like usual, or the useless bomber. I would say that. I think the B-25 might have got a kill, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I was pretty much flying this out. Like the plane feels a lot different, and since the 50 cal buff was sufficient enough to actually make American planes, more viable than they were before. Because even before they got buffed, I still had to play them because America is the main nation that I play. So there's no other nation I really have a choice to actually play besides. Well, I play Germany and I play Britain also, but I mean, America is the tech tree that I've got the furthest in. And with the 50 cal buff, it makes it a lot easier to get kills, but it wasn't like it wasn't easy to get kills before. But I'm fighting against an I-185 and LA-7, and the Typhoon and P-38 have no altitude, which is one of the biggest things that bugs me in War Thunder completely. When I see B and Zers not have altitude and not, they just don't climb. They get impatient. So I pretty much try and go in here and save the P-38 and I get some hits on the LA-7, and it doesn't go too well. Actually, excuse me, I was saving the Typhoon. But I get some hits, and I immediately pull right back up into the vertical, and retain my altitude. Because without the altitude, fighting against the Russians, as many videos as you've seen before, you can't fight against them. They're low altitude fighters. They have better acceleration, better climb, better roll, better everything down low. And we're not even, that high up as it is. I'm at like 3,000 meters. I climbed to like 5,000 or 6,000 in the beginning, and they weren't up there. So, they were forcing us to fight on their own terms, which was fine. It's never too much for the D-30. The D-30 is a good plane. It's good at all altitudes, but you don't want to fight against Russians in their swamp, I want to say, because they're just gonna try to make you maneuver and burn energy. And with planes like the P-47, the P-38, Typhoon, planes that you're seeing in here, they're not very good at maneuvering on the deck. Like, they're good at maneuvering. They're maneuverable planes when they're at high speeds, but once you do turns and loops, they start to get very sluggish. As you can see, like right here, I could barely complete my turn because I was trying to claw for every little bit of altitude that I could get. But here's where my patience came in. The Russian players are very impatient because they know that their planes are good. So I'm just energy draining them right now. I'm making them maneuver, and I know that every time I put the nose down on my D-30, that I'm going to gain more energy than they are. So after I put the nose down and I evade some shells, I just completely go back up. I'm just energy draining them now. I'm making them fire off their cannons, which is slowing down their plane. I'm maneuvering around. I'm, pulling the nose up, pulling the nose down, getting separation, and making them make their plane maneuver in the vertical, which their planes are very good at, but not at high altitudes. Now, I get that we're not too high up, but, the D-30, after coming out of a dive or after doing gaining a little bit of speed, it gets a lot of separation, and it forces players to kind of, want to point their guns at them and shoot, because a D-30 that is not injured and has altitude and speed is just a very dangerous plane. And at this moment, you can see they're very slow, and I'm still doing about a good I don't even know. I can't even really see my speed now, but I'm doing some good speed right now. Um, I'm doing about 300, not 300, like 200 miles an hour, 180 or something like that, and they're getting slow. So I think on this next turn I might get a kill, but I don't know if you've seen, like, I've pretty much been just weaving in and out of them. I've been like going in, try to get a shot, um, duck under some shells, and then I just kind of yo-yo in the fight several times. And eventually, I know one of them is gonna make mistakes. I just didn't know who it was. But I think the first one to make the mistake is probably this 185 right here. It looked like he was trying to stall climb me, and it just wasn't gonna happen. So put some 50s right into him, get a crit, set him on fire. He's out. This next Yak 3, I think he tried to push a head on with me, but the way his nose was pointed and the speed he was going, he just couldn't do it, and I get a lucky pilot snipe. 2 kills in like less than 11 seconds apart. D-30 is a really good plane, like, if you play it right. Now, that was like the most patient I've been in a while as far as, you know, booming and zooming in any type of American plane. Usually the planes that I like to fly are more aggressive. Like, I fly the P-47 in. It's still a boom and zoomer, but with the roll rate and the acceleration and the dive speed, you can play more aggressive. But the D-30 doesn't really have that. It's really sluggish at low speeds. Once you get below like 250 miles an hour, you're just slow. So you kind of got to play more patient. And that was patience at its finest. I drained the energy of the players. I forced them to, spend ammo several times in which they couldn't put any shots into me. So they wasted ammo, they wasted energy, and they got impatient. And at that point, I capitalized, and I was able to take 2 of them out. One with a legitimate kill, and one with a lucky pilot snipe. But at this point in the match, we find a fucking P-8 in space, and yeah, he's gonna run. I think I was looking for the LA-7 that had disappeared. You're gonna see at the end of the match that he does reappear, and I'm not gonna be able to get him. But yeah, at this point, I get really impatient. I'm gonna start chasing down this P-8. So yeah, it was just this was my impatience coming in. I was so impatient that I didn't notice that the P-8 wasn't the last guy. I literally started chasing him after I seen that his name, had a parachute by it, and didn't have a parachute by it, and that he was still alive, and that he was the last guy. But I noticed that there was a LA-7 that I had hit before, and he was smoking. And I didn't think he went down because I didn't get an aircraft destroyed, or, I didn't get a crit on him at all. So I know he wasn't damaged to the point where he probably couldn't make it back. But I thought maybe he had crashed in the middle of the fight, or, maybe Jade out or whatever. And it wouldn't have gave me the kill anyways, because it was so much of a time difference between the time that I shot him and the time that he probably would have Jade out. But he didn't Jade out. He actually just went to land. And I got impatient. Instead of waiting, I go after a P-8, which is in a stall right now. I'm trying to get as close as possible. I do see the airfield there, but I'm like, I'm going at a pretty good speed. I'm not compressing, so I can still, pull out and not, lawn dart. I can still get some shots into him. And I think that at this point, I'm like, my aim's pretty good. I can maybe set him on fire, but the only thing I was able to do was to rip that wing off, which I don't even think I actually did. I think I might have injured his wing, and when he turned, it might have ripped off. But at this point, the AAA just started lighting me up. A lucky gunner on the airfield, and I'm getting my central gear leg. Yeah, and I just got holes everywhere in this plane. And at this point, the end of the match is coming up for me because I was impatient. I ended up getting the P-8, I believe I did. But after I get over these mountains here, my engine starts to fail, and the LA-7 appears out of nowhere. And there's nothing I'm going to be able to do about it. So that was just a really good example of, not to get too impatient. I was patient perfectly. all match I was baiting well, I was draining energy, I was evading, I was being very passive. I was playing kind of aggressive too, but that's just my play style. And after flying the D-30 for a little bit, I don't got the plane spaded, but I got like maybe like the first 3 upgrades that are available, because I didn't actually fly this plane out a lot. I flew the D5 mainly, and then I already had the F8F, F8F1, and I think the F8F1B unlocked, and that's what helped me get to my jets. So those planes are night and day comparing the F8F and the D30 Mustang. But at this point, I'm pretty comfortable in any American plane, especially if it's a Boom Zoom era. But I got a little overconfident, and my impatience got the best of me, after I've been patient all match. And, I just want to show videos like this to make an example to, any War Thunder players that are out there. Just because you got 2 kills doesn't mean, you're on fire. I felt like I was on fire, but I could have avoided, dying, but I didn't. So, at this point, I just pulled out the blind hunt to help my teammates find the LA7, and my engine's pretty much dead now. I think actually go into cockpit view and actually try to see my gauges and see if my RPMs are going down and stuff like that, because that's a good indication to actually see if your engine is dying. Because I've flown on red engines and even close to black, I think, and still got back to base because your engine won't get any worse than what it is. But after I looked in the cockpit, it was just bad. Like my gauges were going down and my engine was stuttering, and that was pretty much it. Like the LA7 probably, I don't even know what actually happened after this match. He might have cleaned up. I doubt it. It was 3 players, but seeing that the P-38 is the only one up, yeah, actually, like you can see right now, I'm checking my gauges and they're just going down. Like they're fluctuating real bad. So I knew it was over at that time. And plus I only had a little bit of fuel. Oil's empty, water's empty. It was over. So I ended up trying to land in a few. I think I'm going to try and land on like some train tracks or some type of path. And I ended up, getting down there, but I didn't get down there the way I wanted to. But yeah, people be patient in War Thunder. The D-30 will pay off, and you won't find your engine sputtering like this. You won't be trying to land in a row of trees. And you won't be letting LA7s live another day. And you also won't be getting shot down by AAA trying to chase PE8s. But that's pretty much it. Like, it was a good game. I got 3 kills. One of them was kind of bullshit. That PE8 did play it well because he was flying towards the airfield. I'm surprised he didn't get me with the tail guns. But at this moment, I was finished. I crashed. I J'd out, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, 3 kills, P-51 D-30, 1930 score or whatever it was, and a P-47 carrying bombs at the end of the match. But yeah, like thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for everybody who's seen my last video and liked it. I'm gonna be putting up some more stuff sooner. This video doesn't have any sound because my Elgato was actually not malfunctioning. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.